Hi, welcome to Nerdy Review. Today we're going to do a cheesy review over Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Now, this is one of my favorite movies that I kind of grew up watching. I've only seen it once when I was little, and then I saw it a second time recently. And it's an interesting movie because, first of all, don't really like clowns. I don't know very many people who do. They're kind of terrifying. I mean, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's just the whole I don't know. It's just creepy to me. And just watching this movie the second time around, it showed me that it's not really a horror. It's kind of a comedy horror.
Mm-hmm.
And it's realistic too, because if you're gonna have these killer alien clowns from outer space that come onto Earth to terrorize people, like, they're gonna do it in clever ways. I mean, they're clowns after all, so they're gonna be joking. So it terrified me as a child, and then me and Dr. Professor discussed it, saying like, were the writers or directors trying to be serious with this movie? And to me personally, I feel like they were. They went at this in a realistic way if these were clowns to invade Earth. Since they are clowns and they're murdering people, they're not going to be your generic aliens who zap them with a beam and it disintegrates them. You know, they have these guns that actually turn them into cotton candy, and it like disintegrates them within the cotton candy. So it's kind of a different way of doing it, and it's exactly how I would expected a killer alien clown to do it. So overall, I thought it was an interesting movie, a good idea, a good concept. Just overall, just how everything flowed together. It seems like they were doing something serious, and I give them an applause over that. I think it was for its time, it was well done, and even though it is cheesy because clowns look ridiculous, but overall, I think they reached their goal, even though it's not exactly a great movie.
Right.
So, what did you think?
Gosh, watching this movie brought back a lot of memories. I did see it as a child, or a lot younger, I should say. And back then, I did not handle scary movies well. I mean, anything that would be threatening or scary to me would be amplified in a sense. And I did not like clowns growing up. I was horrified, just as many people are. I think it stemmed from me seeing Stephen King's It, like just the picture. I didn't see the movie as a kid. I saw the picture, and that from then on just scared me with clowns. And so coming to this movie as a kid, it scared the crap out of me. I mean, we see these things that are supposed to be joyful and happy and kind and fun with kids, and they're killing people with their fun and kind ways. It's horrifying. It's literally taking something that we would trust and assume would be fun and peaceful and turning it into an evil creature kind of thing. And then coming back and seeing it as, you know, a 22-year-old, it's laughable, honestly. I mean, it's still pretty eerie at times. You don't want to think about a killer clown, but the fact of the premise, the whole thing is just, I mean, the acting is, it's a magical experience to get to watch it again and be like, wow, I was really horrified as a kid from this movie, and now I can like just watch it with all the lights off and not be like worried at all. I still don't like clowns, but I mean, that's probably just from my childhood kind of thing. But I mean, I loved this movie. I'm not gonna lie, it was really good to see again. That's for sure.
It's kind of a love-hate thing because it's so comedic and interesting. But there's like clowns, so love-hate.
Right.
So, what would you say is a pro and a con of this movie?
I'll start with the con. I feel like even though it was supposed to be like a horror comedy thing, I really felt like they could have made it a horror. I really think if they would have just stuck with it and probably got rid of the really, really, really bad acting, I think they could have actually made it a really scary movie, because it's creepy. They look creepy to me. I don't think that they look like happy and sweet. I don't think the prosthetics are dumb looking. Like they must have used puppeteering or animatronics for whatever they did for the faces, because it's creepy to me still, as you know, being an adult as opposed to a child. It still freaks me out a little bit. But I think that was the biggest con, was if they would have just taken it more seriously and really dove in, they could have easily made it a horrifying movie. Now, one of my pros, or probably the main pro, is the fact that they used those innocent clown-themed things as weapons or means of killing in the movie. Now, like you were saying earlier about the cotton candy, there's other things. They shoot popcorn, they throw acid pies. I mean, things like that you would never expect to be in a horror environment. They use to utilize with the clown theme, and that's, I mean, that's just scary to me, but it was also fun and creative. I mean, they literally have a balloon animal dog sniffing out the humans at one point, and although it's like one of the funniest scenes ever, it is also like, that was actually really clever. I like that a lot. My first question is for you is, how would you react if this actually happened? I mean, we laugh at it now, but let's say we were thrown into that situation where these killer clowns from outer space are coming in. I mean, I would be horrified. So I'd like to see how would you handle it? What would your plan be? What would you do?
Well, if this were real, I real as in I'm experiencing it firsthand, or I heard about it on the news.
You're experiencing it firsthand.
Oh my God.
Maybe you've seen it on the news, and then knock knock. Oh, they're at your door. Like, how are you gonna handle? How are you gonna feel? What are you gonna go through?
First of all, my heart would sink to my stomach, and I'd probably crap it out.
Oh, that's good.
Clowns are terrifying. I don't know very many people that approve of clowns. Just even before I seen any scary clown movies, they were scary to me. They just look unnatural, is the best way I can put it.
That's a good call.
And if this were real, it would be very terrifying. I'd much rather have, a criminal hold a gun to my head. I think I can handle that in a less stressful way than a clown invasion. It's almost like being stuck in a Freddy Krueger nightmare. I'd much rather kill myself than actually face what's coming. It's just like it's inevitable, especially the ways that they kill the people. It's almost like no one can get away. They're right there behind you, and they're so intimidating. And even if they weren't like super big and intimidating like they are in the movie, just being clowns alone would terrify me. Gosh, yeah, I would have a hard time taking this in, and if I were to witness one in person,
right,
I would beg for it to kill me the most merciful way because they're just too scary.
Don't even fight back. That's just quit. I mean, they're clowns.
Well, with that said, my last question for you would be, what, out of all the amazing scenes in this movie, what is probably your favorite?
My favorite scene is actually what I would say is the scariest scene in the movie. Like, the whole thing is like really light, and even when like people are like dying or being chased down by the clowns, it's like really laughable. It's like really light. But there's this one scene where one specific clown basically turns the head police officer, or one of the police officers, into a human puppet. And it's like this ventriloquism act where he's sitting in the police station talking through the guy. And the whole like scene is like really dark, and up until this point, like everything's been super bright, super like goofy and clowny, and then this just one scene just drops. And I mean, here we are sitting with the dead cop on the clown's lap, and he's like talking through him. It's like, it's okay, we're just here to kill you. And I mean, even though that's like such a stupid written line, like it's so dumb and like, oh really, that, okay. It is an eerie scene. I mean, he's using his old cop partner as a human puppet. I mean, then he like takes his hand out and there's just blood all over it, and I'm just like, ooh, that was scary. And that's what I was talking about earlier. If they would have really focused in on it, I think they could have knocked it out of the park. I think it could have been one of the scariest movies of all time. With that said, and we've kind of danced around the topic, my final question is, are you afraid of clowns? I mean, to what level is your fear of clowns, and where do you think it came from? Why are they scary to you? What creeps you out? Because I mean, they creep me out. Not like, no offense to people who are clowns in the business or whatever. Like, it's nothing personal. There's something about clowns that scare me. So I want to know what you think about that.
Well, let me answer this through a story that actually happened to me in real life. It was a few summers ago, and I was looking for jobs to do to keep me entertained, and my sister-in-law works for a newspaper business in our town, and she called me up and said, hey, I have a little task for you if you don't mind getting some information about it. And I was like, sure, whatever. And she told me that there was this person dressed up as a clown on a street corner and just standing there waving at people. It was a girl clown. She had the full on, like, clown costume, makeup, the hair, and holding balloons. And she said, my sister-in-law told me that she would just stand there and wave at cars going by. And I said, sure, I'll go check it out. So I drove over there to go get some information about it, to kind of talk to the girl doing it and come back to my sister-in-law. She can write an article about it. And upon driving down there, I made eye contact with the thing. I'm just gonna call it a thing because it was more terrifying than I imagined. And instead of like talking to her like I was supposed to, I averted my eyes from her and just kept driving. And then I called my sister-in-law and told her I couldn't do it. It was too scary. So that job didn't really work out for me. And then later, my sister-in-law actually met up with the girl and interviewed her. And the girl, she was a high schooler at the time. And she said she was just doing that to try to brighten people's day. I mean, it was very nice of her, but at the same time, it's quite terrifying.
Brighten some people's day, horrify and scar other people's
exactly.
days.
And like, it was just an innocent girl dressed up as a clown, and that made me not even want to go near it. It was horrifying. So I would say I'm very much scared of clowns.
That's a good call.
On a scale of 1 to 10, definitely a 13.
13. Oh, okay.
That's how scared I am.
That's a scary number in itself.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Overall, we give this movie a cheesy movie rating, which is different from our normal ratings. We base it on the level of how cheesy the movie is, as opposed to how good it is, how great the acting, how great the special effects. So we give this movie a 6 out of 10. Now, don't get us wrong. The thing is, it kind of seems that it's actually trying to be cheesy. Now, we want movies that were actually trying to be a horror movie 100%, and they just failed completely. We went back to Troll 2, we gave Troll 2 a number 9 because it was a very serious film. They were actually trying really hard. With Killer Clowns from Outer Space, it seems like the whole premise and the whole storyline is based kind of off of a cheesy kind of thought. Now, we still love the film. We think it's great. Now, we hope you enjoyed this review, and heck, go watch the movie, tell us what you think, and remember, stay nerdy.